The group V-Day, the global movement to stop all forms of gender-based violence, held the opening ceremony for the City of Joy, a groundbreaking new community for women survivors of gender violence in the Congo. Created from their vision, Congolese women will run, operate, and direct City of Joy themselves. This is V-Day founder Eve Ensler speaking at the opening ceremony for the City of Joy.
The women of Congo are the center of my heart. They're in the heart of the world, the heart of Africa. If you rape the center of the world, if you exploit the center of the world, you destroy the heart of the world. Today, we are about taking back the heart. Jamba mamas, you are the strongest women. And I promise you, City of Joy will be the place where the women of Congo turn their pain to power.
That was Eve Ensler of V-Day, speaking at the opening ceremonies for the City of Joy in Bukavu. In addition to founding V-Day, Eve Ensler is the best-selling author and playwright behind the Vagina Monologues. Her latest book is a collection of fictional monologues and stories inspired by girls. It's called I Am an Emotional Creature, The Secret Life of Girls Around the World. We are joined by Eve Ensler here in our studio, as well as her colleague, Christine Schuler Deschryver of V-Day Congo. She is the director of V-Day Congo and of the City of Joy. Christine has devoted her life to women's issues in the Democratic Republic of Congo after witnessing the rape and murder of her best friend and the death of an infant in 2000. V-Day founder and artistic director Eve Ensler is also being awarded the 2011 Isabel Stevenson Tony Award for her commitment to humanitarian and charitable efforts around her V-Day organizing around the world. We welcome you both back to Democracy Now!
Thank you.
Well, Eve, it's also wonderful to have you back on Democracy Now! And to see you in such remarkable health.
Thank you.
You are a survivor in so many ways as you struggle with and seem to have defeated your cancer.
Well, for today, it's gone, and it seems pretty gone. It seems pretty far away. And, you know, it's not disconnected from the women of Congo. I think there's a real connection. I think the struggle that we've been engaged in for the last years in Bukavu and all over Congo to support women on the ground, taking back their voices, taking back their power, taking back their resources, taking back their bodies, taking back their country, really kept me alive. You know, I just couldn't die. I felt so connected to it. And Christine and I were literally on the phone every day through my chemo, through my operation, through my infections. But it was just, that was the running stream. And every time I thought about the City of Joy opening, I thought, okay, you know, there's a reason to be here. And there's a big reason to keep going.
Christine, tell us about the City of Joy.
The City of Joy is really like a dream that is coming true, because it was something that was created by the Congolese women. And at the beginning, it was just like a dream. And thanks to V-Day, who was like the wind behind our back, it becomes a reality. And we started receiving the first women like 2 weeks ago. So we are on the process, and it's all amazing. I left Congo like 2 weeks ago, and every time I'm with them on the phone, they have new things. It's like, it really belongs to the Congolese women. So I just told them, as long as we respect, you know, our budget and the program, just go on.
The City of Joy originally, Eve, talk about the conception and how you also came to meet Christine and came to focus on the Congo in your work.
Well, as you know, I've been traveling around the world for quite some time with V-Day, often visiting kind of the rape mines of the world. And I've seen terrible things, whether it's Afghanistan or Haiti or Bosnia or Pakistan or Kosovo. But I have to say, when I got to Congo, and I was invited there at the request of Dr. Denis Mukwege, who's an extraordinary doctor and director of Pansy Hospital in Bukavu, I spent 2 weeks interviewing women at Pansy Hospital, and my mind and soul and heart were shattered. I just hadn't seen the level of violence in my life. It just felt like it couldn't possibly be happening in this century. And it also felt like the place where all these things had merged into a terrible cauldron, whether it was a history of colonialism and enslavement, whether it was the exploitation of indigenous people's minerals, whether it was racism, whether it was sexism. They had all just come together, and the war was now being fought on the bodies of women. And I think I immediately met Christine, and Christine was my translator in those early days, and we spent weeks together listening to the stories of women.
I wanted to go to some of those stories. This is a clip from 2008, V-Day working with UNICEF to organize events in 2 cities in the DRC where survivors of sexual violence publicly spoke out against violence and about their experiences for the first time. 7 women told their stories in front of community members and government and UN officials.
They took my husband and hit him and tied him and tortured him and took him I don't know where. They went and killed him wherever they had taken him. And then all 7 men raped me. Then the neighbors heard what happened and found me unconscious. They looked at me and saw all my insides outside of my body.
They started taking the clothes off my children, and I told them, please, excuse me, you can't do that. Instead of raping my children while I watch, just kill me first.
A woman is supposed to be respected. We are not objects. Women get pregnant and breastfeed you. How come you disrespect me today in public?
The authorities of this country, how do you look at this rape issue and remain silent?
We are suffering because of rape. Rape should stop. It must stop.
I am speaking so that women who are hiding and others who have AIDS can come out, so they can be taught how to live.
Just excerpts of women describing their experiences in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Eve, I just gave these horrific figures at the beginning of this segment, talking about 2 million raped in the Democratic Republic of Congo, this report that just came out from the Journal of Public Health. How is the situation now? And the City of Joy, what exactly the women will be doing?
Well, I think those statistics are old statistics. I mean, I think they were done from 2006, 2007. And my impression, and maybe, I was just there recently, I don't think as many women are being raped now in the Congo as before. There are certainly rapes going on, but it is getting better. And I have to say that I feel there's a woman's spring beginning to happen in the Congo. We are seeing signs of it everywhere. The arrests that came and the prosecutions that we were talking about. I want Christine to talk a little bit about the Friends of V-Day at City of Joy and the energy and the impact of our 4-year campaign, because I think what's really beginning to happen is we're birthing activists,
Christine, talk about that and this whole issue of prosecutions and what they mean. I was reading a piece of a journalist who, a young woman was saying to him, my rapist is about to be tried, and he just sat there quietly, the journalist, thinking, oh, this is so sad that she thinks her rapist is about to be tried, because we know that's impossible in Congo. But in fact, it's slowly but surely beginning to happen.
Yeah, we don't have to see everything, like in negative. Because when we started with our campaign, we trained a lot of activists all over DRC. And now women really are breaking the silence. The Congolese, the Congolese women are taking, like their power. Because we told them that they don't have to be ashamed for this rape. The ones who are doing it have to be ashamed. For example, a few weeks ago, a national deputy, was arrested in Kinshasa. And the one who denounced that were activists we trained in Kinshasa. He is under arrest, I think, for 18 months. So now, more and more, we have the fruit of all the sensibilization we made and all the program we've made. Also, we have a group named Friends of V-Day, the woman who started building the City of Joy. And after, when we finished with the building, they refused to leave. They say, it's our City of Joy. So now they are gardeners, they are taking care of other women, they organize themselves like in a community, and they are just part of City of Joy. And that's the beginning of something. Because what we have to understand now that there's a big change. So many international NGOs come and say they're coming, you know, for integration, social integration of women. How can you integrate a woman with a sewing machine? You know, these women, when you ask them, what do you want? You know, they want to be leader and they want to decide for themselves. Because since centuries, it's like we impose everything to the Congolese. And now I think slowly, it's time for the Congolese to tell themselves what they need. That's why I insist on that word. We just have to be the wind behind the back of the Congolese, and they have to tell us what they want, and we have to follow them on that process to be leaders.
Last November, the Congolese former Vice President Jean-Pierre Bemba pleaded not guilty to charges. He gave his private army free rein to rape and murder men, women, and children in the neighboring Central African Republic.
Yeah, you know, this is all politics. And I think if Jean-Pierre Bemba, of course, is in Den Haag today, but I think so many others can also be there, because so many people, you know, we had like how many groups of rebels. And I think everyone has kind of responsibilities with everything that happened in DRC.
The numbers of girls, I mean, this past summer, this catastrophe that took place, 300 to 500 women, girls, even babies, that were raped under the nose of the UN forces. How did that happen? And clearly you are feeling hopeful, Eve. So what gives you hope? That happened just last summer.
Well, I think it's safe to say that this peacekeeping force has not been an entirely successful force, to say the least. I think it hasn't. I mean, most of the women live in the forest and in the bush, and so there was a justification for why they weren't able to protect them when they were in the bush. You know, that they were so far in. The Walikali thing was ridiculous because they were so close by. And again, and I say this with all deep respect, if your intention is not to protect women, if you do not understand what it really means to be sexually violated, to be raped, to be occupied, to be dominated, to be destroyed, if you don't, then your intention to protect will never be successful. And I do not feel yet that the UN has that deep understanding and will what it takes to, you know, I always say this. Lately, I woke up one morning and I thought to myself, now, if this were happening in Santa Barbara, California, okay, and we heard that thousands of women were being raped a day, 1,100 women were being raped a day in Santa Barbara, California, and California heard that Africans were doing studies about them being raped while the rapes were continuing, how would the people in Santa Barbara feel? You know, why have we not created a peace force that has been able to protect the women? Why have we not built world intent and world pressure and world will to stop the fighting? Because obviously there are deeper economic interests at stake. There are corporate interests at stake. There are governments and corporations that are merged, and those interests are the dominating interests. And I think until we really understand what sexual violence does, what one rape does to a woman's life, how it determines the rest of her existence, how her whole life will be shaped by that and robbed by that, how it will determine her self-esteem, her ability to be intimate, her ability to connect, her ability to have a job, her confidence, her ability to, the way she treats her boy children. Until we understand the magnitude of one rape, there will really be no, because I think it's all about intention in the end. I really do.
We're going to break, then come back. Our guests are V-Day founder Eve Ensler, award-winning playwright, author, a creator of the Vagina Monologues and V-Day, the global movement to stop violence against women and girls, and Christine Schuler Deschryver, Congolese human rights activist, director of V-Day Congo, and director of City of Joy. This is Democracy Now! We'll be back in a minute.